Welcome to the Game Changer 00100 show. I am your host, Game Changer, and today we are going to talk about Black women, and they are lowballing their you know what. Now, a lot of fellas are wondering what I mean because they feel that it may be a little bit too much, as far as what you have to do to get it, the time, energy, resources that you have to spend to obtain the you know what from a Black woman, particularly a one that you're attracted to. I'm not talking about one that you tell yourself you're attracted to just to get it up. I'm talking about one that you are actually attracted to. Um, a lot of you brothers may think that the price is high, you know. Um, but this isn't about you. And when I say brothers, I'm talking about African American brothers. This really isn't about you. Your perception of the negotiation, the sexual negotiation that you have with Black women, is a completely different sexual negotiation that they have with each other. It's kind of like a high ball, low ball instance. For example, um, for those of you who are not subscribed and you plan on traveling, check out Tailor Made Dreams. I actually met him in person in the Dominican. Great guy. He helped me out of a situation that I was in out there. Very cool person. Bought me a Bahama Mama, and that was my drink. And he showed me a lot of cool spots. So, very good guy. Tailor Made Dream out the Matrix. Anyway, um, on his channel, he talked about purchasing houses there in the Dominican. And whenever they see you, hear you, or just know that you're a foreigner, they fucking gouge you. They highball you. I'm not talking about like, you have to pay an extra, five, maybe $10,000. The story he gave, they highballed somebody $100,000. So instead of paying $150,000 for a villa, it was $250,000. That's the price for Gringo. So, if you were local, you get lowballed. And if you were foreign, you get highballed. So, two different prices. Right now, what I'm talking about is the lowballing, and particularly who is getting the lowball price. Now, we're going to revisit something that I've seen before. And hold on one moment. Let me share it. Because something about this stuck with me, and it made me want to revisit. Here we go. Let me get rid of this. It made me want to revisit what was said here. And it's very important that we re-examine this. So, let me shout out the chat room before we get started. Okay, what's going on, Complex? What's going on, Zone? How you doing, the lovely Naima? And let's see who else is on. Everybody else, please feel free to hit the like button on your way in. I know YouTube is kind of busy right now because everybody's getting like their last video of the month or period on the Hangouts out. So, it's just going to be like that. All right. So let's get started. And let me show you what I mean.
Come on, work with me. We've gone through this process. So yes, I go through the bio, I go through the pictures, do they have a diverse set of pictures? Can I see everything? Yes. So, but I'm also not only swiping on Black men. What I'm finding is that, especially like on Bumble, where women have to reach out first, only Black people respond back to me. What? So I might match with people, but only Black men respond back to me. So that's who, and we already discussed how, like, even if we respond back, getting that date further is even like more difficult. So I'm just not in that pool of like dating people outside of my race, because even in a situation like that where it's just like, it's not happening.
I feel that Black women are stifling themselves if
you are only swiping on.
Okay, stopping right there for a quick second. Now, basically what she's saying is that she is open to dating men of all races. She doesn't discriminate, nor should she. However, she's getting the most response from Black men. Now, this is common throughout all races. I mean, your own is going to find you the most attractive. Just how it works. I mean, that's how you evolve to be the particular, race that you are. Or that's the reason that you have the traits that you have, because your mother or your father was attracted to your mother's trait. His father was attracted to your grandmother's trait, and so on and so forth, since the beginning of time. you know and that's why certain features exist in certain areas depending on what people like. Now there's other things that exist as a necessity. However, we're pretty much wired to look for certain traits that's consistent with our race. So, that is what it is. So it's very reasonable that she would get the most responses from Black men. And also in her case, Black men just generally don't have a weight requirement. So where other races of men do. So they're not as put off by her being overweight as other races of men. So, but what she said here was interesting, and the response is even more interesting because basically what she said was she tries all other races, and Black men respond back to her the most. And her response, the one in the red, her response was women should not, or they should open up to other races. But she already said that. So, I mean, I don't know why she did that. But I want y'all to study what's going on. I mean, I know we already reviewed this, but I want y'all to really study what's going on so we can dissect this. I'm going to play another video. So, well, here, just study this.
Black men. I know you're not, but I'm like, if you are out there only saying, oh, I only want Black love, then absolutely. But if you're really trying to find yourself or find that person that's going to be there for you or be compatible with, you are highly limiting yourself. Because even, who's not to say, if you're swiping on all these ethnicities and you do swipe on a Black person, you have a great conversation, then so be it. But what if that person's an Indian person? Or what if that person's Pacific Islander? It doesn't matter. The compatibility has nothing to do with the shell that's on our bodies. Like,
okay, so she's preaching what she already knows. I mean, she already knows to, ignore the shell on the body, so to speak. So why is she doing this? And that question has stuck with me a little bit when I first seen this. Why is she doing this? So let's explore.
That's nothing. So I love when Asian guys, and that's what's crazy. You said the stat of like it's low Asian men, like. She like, well, not over here.
Okay, once again, that's a very weird thing to do, especially considering that this is a sexual emotion. And listen,
the race thing. Issa Rae got in trouble for saying that Black women and Asian men should get together.
Let me tell you, the best like self-discovery I've had in myself and even conversations and activities have all been with Asian men. Mm-hmm. Like it kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wait a minute. We're ethnicity that both works hard. We're both like very smart. We also know what it feels like to be at the bottom of the totem pole and not be desired. There's a commonality between all of that. Do you understand that's like breeding for superpowers? Mm-hmm. Like it literally is. Like if we go based on stereotypes only, Asians are the smart ones and Black people are the athletic ones. I'm sorry, don't you?
Oh God, that was hard to watch. I mean, that was extremely hard to watch. If we go on stereotypes alone, Black women, do you really, what's going on, Golden Eagle? Black women, do you really want men to go on stereotypes alone? What's going on, Triple X? I mean, stop and think about that for a second. She said, if we go on stereotypes alone, do you really want men to go on stereotypes alone when dealing with you? So she's suggesting that Asian men date Black women on their stereotype.
You want a smart, athletic baby?
Well,
Oh, and by the way, the athletic portion is the black man's stereotype. So she's really advocating for black men to date Asian women or Asian women to date black men, you know, based on stereotype. Just saying.
and that
For
black
something-
women are the most educated group in America.
The most.
Yep.
The most.
So what y'all waiting out on? Why y'all sitting there looking dumb?
Who is she talking to? Why did she turn to this woman here who said that she date all races of men, but only black men respond back? Why is she telling her, what are you waiting on? What are y'all waiting on? Like, y'all should hurry up and start swiping on all races of men. She already tried that. Black men are the only ones swiping back. I think that other races of men are probably dating based on stereotype, like you suggested. And I don't think that other races of men, when they think of a black woman stereotype, they think about how athletic their sons are. You know, I don't think that white guys are looking to try to breed a Steph Curry, even though he's not mixed. But I don't think that they're trying to breed an Andre Ward with. No, I don't think it works that way. It works that way in your mind, but we're going to get into how it actually is working for them in the next video. And I'm telling you, you guys are gonna flip. Guys and girls, you're gonna flip when y'all see this next video.
Why? Get with the smart woman who's beautiful. Y'all are sitting there looking dumb. But it's like I don't know why. I went on a date with a Russian guy and I'm like, this is interesting. And you do find
Okay. All of these dates are failed. All of these Asian guys that taught her things about herself that she didn't know. And this is really just her following their lead. Like, I bet you didn't know that you like sucking little dicks this much. You know, you're right. I didn't know that I like sucking little dicks this much. I really like it. I have discovered something about myself that I didn't know. That is the actual, I don't know, I'm speculating, but that seems to be the real self-discovery that she's talking about. All right. So let's continue.
you do find similarities in people who don't look like you.
Mm-hmm. The goal of this podcast is to get people in a position of aptitude.
You do find, okay. Yeah, so what she said is true. All right, so that was that. I just wanted to rehash this right quick. I know many of you have seen my previous video when I did this, but I had to cover this again. All right, let me bring up the next video and see who is in the chat room while I do that. Go ahead and state your thoughts if you have any. And let me stop this while I queue up the next video. All right. And this is going to be an unfortunate bombshell. I seen this years ago, and this video is actually really old. I had to dig it up. This video is from 2012. So, but it's still relevant today, and possibly even more so. All right, one moment. Oh no, this is not it. Oh, crap, wrong one. All right. Okay, give me one moment here. Let me read the comments while it load. All right, salute Triple X. What's good, Golden Eagle? David Monroe, how are you? Let's see. And Golden Eagle. I think I already said what's up to you. All right, so let me, all right, got the video. Oh crap. Thought I had it. 1 second. All right, technical difficulties. Bear with me, people. There we go. All right, next time I'm just put this on the other screen. That way I could just do a quick switch over. All right. So we have that, and here we go. Yeah, this video again, David, but that's not what the bulk of this is going to be about. That's just to prepare you for what's about to come next. All right, so we see how the Black women feel about this situation. Let's see how the Asian men, at least the honest ones, are feeling about the situation. All right, so screen to share. Present to everyone, and here we go.
Favorite Asian Crispy, aka Khan. And yeah, wow, I haven't done an AMBW video in a long time, so I just thought I'd bring it back. I actually got a couple of fresh ideas that nobody's really talked about. So yeah, and kind of the reason why I don't really do too many AMBW videos is, I'm gonna be real. Sometimes there's only so much you can talk about, so it's just like for me. Just like if a bunch of people have already talked about it, I don't really want to talk about it, you know. There's nothing really more I can add to the conversation, you know. But yeah, I got a couple in my head. So Facebook groups. I noticed this. This is weird, okay? And this is, you know, I'm in like 10 different maybe Facebook groups. I'm gonna be honest, and I only like maybe participate in one. I don't even really count it as like participating. I just like leave obscure comments, you know, like some foreign Asian dude who wander into group.
So I noticed this. I noticed this in high school, and I was asking about it, and they just said it's a cultural thing. So he's very likely Chinese. The guys like to do this long pinky thing, while all the other nails are you know, standard size. They like to do that.
Like, yo, where's it about from?
They like to do that long pinky thing. In fact, one of them was joking, and he said that yeah, some people say things like it's for other reasons. I was like, what are you talking about? They say, well, we use it to scoop cocaine, which is fucked up. You know. But yeah, it's how it is. I don't know if he's trying to sound black. He's with a black woman, but I don't know if he's trying to sound black. But let's continue.
I'm from China, but it'll be like in broken English. I'll be like Nashville. Then like a winky face. So, but yeah, I noticed this. It's just like, there's like a discrepancy. There's like a bunch of beautiful females of the black persuasion, and there's like just a couple Asian dudes, and you got like one or two that drink, that, you know, kind of sprinkled in whatnot every once in a while. And it's just like I get it, like I get that that y'all like into Asian dudes and stuff, which is cool and stuff. I mean, I miss that kind of attention.
Okay, so whenever you hear from the women, like the one that was grinding on the couch just now, that the thing is that not enough black women are open to dating outside of their race, that is not the case. This is a guy who frequents the, you know, AMBW sites, and it's not a lack of female interest that's the problem. There is a bunch of what he called beautiful. There's a bunch of beautiful black women All after the same 3 Asian niggas. Just saying.
Attention. I think it's just because I'm not a fresh face, you know, or you guys got too comfortable with me or something. And it's just like, oh, that's Colin. Yeah, he's boring. I don't like him anymore. But it's just like, I see one dude will post, and for the most part, Asian dudes, like, straight up, no homo stuff, but it's just like, we're decent. We're, for the most part, decently attractive, like, at a minimum. So it's like every time I see him post, like, hi, my name is so and so, how are y'all, or nice to be in the group or whatever, and like a bunch of ladies will be popping, like, hey, how you doing? Oh my god, you're so cute, you fine, I want to have your babies, all that stuff. I'm just like, I'm watching this, and it'll be like,
yep, I told you guys this would be hard to watch. This would be hard to watch. This is a guy calling his own kinfolk just basic looking at best. And he's calling his non-kinfolk, his non-sisters, extremely attractive or beautiful is what he called them. Beautiful women of the Black persuasion. And so basically they're lowballing. You're mixing the best with their worst. And this is his assessment of, you know, their worst. It's like, God damn, you know, it's like, and it's a one-to-many relationship. So they can't find more than a few busted Asian guys. We're talking about the ones who are at home, you know, jacking off when they could be in an AMBW site talking to several beautiful Black women. Instead of that, they would just say, you know something, I could be doing that, or I could be doing something else.
Like, maybe like posted 20 minutes ago from mobile, whatever. I'm guessing it's cell phone or something. And it's just like 80 plus comments. I'm just like, what?
80 plus comment. So, brothers, did that happen to you? Like, do an experiment. Especially you handsome brothers. Do an experiment. Go to like Black People Meet or wherever online community or what have you, Black love forums, and see how long it takes for you to get 80 responses. All right.
Wow. Y'all looking real thirsty right now. I'm being honest. It's just like, come on, Mac. Come on, don't diss me. It's just like, call me. Hold up. Do you want me to get you? All right, whatever. What you want?
Talk with respect, right now, you piece of shit.
Calm down. Okay, what you want?
Yo, listen, man. I'll let you guys decide. But listen, I gotta talk to you because we had a problem with that. So you're sure you can't go to the fair? Just because you called out if you and Victoria come, you don't have to. I don't have to.
Okay, I got my train of thought back together. Look, basically, ladies, look, for those of y'all that are into Asian dudes or whatever, it's cool and stuff, you know. But it's just like, don't lower your standards. I know, you know, a couple chicks that'll be dating Asian dudes and they be like assholes or they be bums or they won't be doing anything. And it's just like, you guys will still, you know, some of y'all might still hold on to that dude maybe because there's not a lot of Asian guys that are into like Black girls and stuff. And it's just like,
oh God, let me pause for a sec. I don't even have anything to say. I just gotta pause because this is so fucked up. Like, I just gotta cringe for a second. It's like, damn, yeah, because this is just such a huge L. Like, this is a huge L, you know. And I'm pausing it really for the sake of y'all because, you know, I know that y'all have like sisters, mothers, and daughters and shit, and y'all hate to see them take L's like this, but this is a huge fucking L. This man is basically saying, stop throwing us y'all pussy. Stop it. Y'all look pathetic. Stop throwing this pussy at us. It's too much. God damn. Why are you chronically throwing the pussy at us? Grinding the couch and shit. And I'm an asshole. And I treat you like shit, but you keep throwing it at them. Stop. God, this is... God damn, my shoulder hurt. My shoulder hurt from cringing off of this fucking L. This is a huge L. And the fact that, you know, just a week ago, they are still throwing it. This video is 2012. And the one I showed you earlier was from like a week ago. They are still throwing it. Because they don't know what else to do with it. All right, yo, these hoes swear they don't be saying, I want to have your babies. That's the first thing this Chinese nigga said. Yeah. Okay, that's two things. So I years ago I met a chick who was with an Asian dude. She was a bigger girl. And she wanted D bad. She was a single mother too. So the daughter, I think it was a daughter, was half Asian. And she was like, yeah, my daughter's gonna grow up to be beautiful and blah, 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 blah. And what she said, okay, here's the thing. As far as ethnic hierarchy of beauty goes, and I said this last night, it's Eritrean, Ethiopian, half black, and Filipino. Like those are the top three. But it is only true when the mother is Filipino. I think that, I don't know why, but I think it maybe have something to do with, you know, certain traits you get from your mother and certain traits you get from your father, you know, shit like that. And, you know, I don't know. It is what it is, you know, like she'll probably get like, you know, the lips, a black woman's lips and hips and shit like that, and breast. And her mother's hair mixed with her father's mother's hair, so you get that curly effect, and you get that chocolate skin, you know, with the undertone and shit like that. So, but it doesn't really work in the opposite direction. It doesn't, you know. Anyway, let's continue.
Like, don't lower your standards for any dude, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, now don't have like ridiculously high standards if even if you can't match them, you know, don't put us on a pedestal is what I'm trying to say. It's just, you know, I get that, you know, it.
All right, just pausing for the sake of the L, because basically what we have here is a group of men who are on the lowest of the totem pole, telling a group of women who are lowest on the totem pole, don't put us on a pedestal. Oh my fucking God. This is...
We're still growing, but there's still not a lot of us. But just because you find an Asian dude or an Asian dude, you find a black chick that's into you and stuff. If they're not legit about that relationship, like if they're not 100% or they're not committed or whatever, don't settle for less. You know what I'm saying?
If they're not committed and they're getting cheated on, this is just the fact that they have to be told this really sees. You get it from their perception. So for those of you who were wondering, like, wait a minute, you know, what are these black chicks doing? You know, are they just throwing themselves at these guys and giving them like an offer that they can't refuse? Are they lowballing their pussy for these guys? Here's your answer.
And you guys get what I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So as much as I think it's rather annoying that that one new fresh face to the group, you know, all of a sudden gets a bunch of chicks like, hey, how you doing? I love you. I want to have you, baby. You know, it's just like,
there he goes. Have a baby again. Yeah, like you said, fantastic. So yeah, so it's that, and just a lot of Black chicks want babies, and they're socially conditioned to think that long-term relationships are not an option. So, you know, they want the baby first. They put the cart before the horse, and a lot of them just trying to get that bag. And they assume that if he doesn't have money, at least his family does. But you know, you got to get that bag, get that bag. All right.
I mean, as annoying as that is, you know, don't, if you're legit trying to find someone to date, like serious date, like if you're casually dating, you know, it's you know, it's whatever. But if you're looking for someone serious and stuff, don't lower your standards, don't lower yourself just so you can get that guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to have some kind of standards. You know, if they don't got a job or they ain't got no goals or a long-term plan, then that might be some, you know, warning sign. So just be wary of stuff like that. Don't settle for less. You know, there just like there are asshole white people, white dudes, Black dudes, whatever. There are asshole Asian dudes too. So don't settle for one of those guys if you can do better. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta figure out a way to end these videos, man. I shouldn't with a joke. So damn. Well, anyways, yo, that's all I got on the topic. Yo, just have some standards. Don't be so thirsty every time that new dude pops up, you know. Oh my gosh, he's so cute and blah 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 blah. Okay, don't get too carried away. I mean, there's nothing wrong with introducing yourself, saying hi, I'm so and so, but some of y'all just. So, you got some more AMBW vids coming up.
All right, let me stop right here.
The next couple of videos are probably going to be AMW.
Okay, so that was that. I know for many of you it was very hard to watch. I don't know if he's a broke dude. He's probably like, he looks really young. He's Zone. He's probably a college student or something, you know, which typically are broke unless your parents have money. So, but yeah, hold on, fantastic. You mean to tell me that they're out giving up the ass to Asian scrubs, but will call niggas broke and dusty and beta male and coon, etc., etc., etc. Now, though they are giving it up, it doesn't appear to be well received or received at all. Besides, like, you know, the 3 or 4 Asian guys, you know, with nothing better to do, you know. And even they are assholes, you know. So yeah, it's not being well received. So the standard that they have for them is far different than the standard that they have for us. And there is a reason for that, which I'm going to explore. But before I do that, I just let's take a look at some comments. I want to see how this message was received by the general public. So let's take to 13,000 views. So yeah, this was 2012. Now the marriage rate there hasn't been like a bump since then. There hasn't been like a, you know, AMBW relationship bump in the past 7 years, at least none that I heard of. And we would hear of such things, you know. The statistics come out after that, and you know, there's still, I mean, so it's basically 7 years of this, and he was already years into it. Just 7 years of these chicks, and you know, keep in mind that video was from a week ago. They're still grinding the goddamn couch over the thought of it, trying to sell this notion to them. And it is a chronic. It is a running ail. And the worst thing about this, the absolute worst thing about this is they know. He's not the only one that's come to this conclusion. He's just the only one that made a video about it. All right. Let's see, because this looks like a white woman, but Ice Princess, maybe it is a white woman. Okay, I totally agree with this. I'm in K-pop group on Facebook. Oh shit, so this isn't even like a real group. Like this isn't even this isn't a page that's dedicated to Asian men, Black women relationships. I'm in a K-pop group on Facebook, and whenever there's a new Asian guy or someone posts a picture of someone, that post will have like 80 through 500 comments within the same day. I'm not exaggerating either. Okay. I don't know if these are Black women, but you know, if these are not Black women, then this is just like a random ass statement. Because, you know, it's just like 80 to 500 people that like K-pop. So we're going to ignore that. That was just out of place. All right. I liked one group on Facebook a while ago, and the girls scared me right out of the group. Enough said. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of issues going on there. I liked a few AMBW groups on Facebook. I didn't think I'd ever see a place to like, comment, or seeing new people added to the group. By the way, it is men. Okay, that's I don't know what that is. All right. All right, here we go, bro. I agree with this 100%, being a Black girl myself, but some chicks do get thirsty. Okay, so Black women, so they're noticing this too. This is something that is generally understood. I like the sound of your voice. Okay, completely irrelevant, but okay. I see this all the time, and I just don't comment. I usually leave the group. So you're there too. I know not all of us are thirsty, but it makes it hard to talk to Asian men because they expect us to be like the other. So basically, when you lowball something, that becomes the price. That becomes the expected price. Like if somebody was to sell their house real cheap on the block, then the price of the other houses on that block goes down. So because they're selling themselves cheaply, they now expect you to lower their price. And they can do that because they can say, well, I'll just get another one of you, you know, if you don't allow me to cheat, or if you don't, you know, suck my dick in the morning. All right. But it doesn't make it hard to, but it makes it hard to talk to Asian men because they expect us to be like the others. And we not. I will walk away very not that desperate, but I definitely understand you. Okay, I barely understand you, but I get it. All right. Let me look at this, and then I'm going to see what Hell Girl has to say, because that's an interesting name. All right. This one's long. Okay, let's see. First of all, who are these women? I don't know this, but then again, I don't really comment. Okay, second, if you go to the groups with Asian men, white women, or Asian men in any combination of women do this. Wait, okay, let me reread this. Second, if you go to the group with Asian men, white women, or Asian men in any other combination, the women do this. Why? Okay, so I think that this is them saying white women do it, but I get the feeling that this is a Black woman. So, you know, part of subversion is to pretend that something doesn't exist. Oh, really? That's a new norm? That's changed actually in recent years, Zone, if that's the case. But, you know, good for you. I guess it's your time in the sun now. All right. So because they constantly told by Asian men included, the Asian men are shy and you have to go for them. Asian men won't approach. Asian men are standoffish and aloof. Every time these women, any women that like Asian men, they are told you must approach Asian men. Okay, I can understand that. I have a friend who is white and she has dated white men, black men, and Asian men, and she says Asian men don't approach. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Um, okay, I mean, yeah, I could see that. Third, society, mostly Hollywood, has deemed Asian men as least desirable of all men. I disagree. Well, okay, but this really isn't on that. It's not this. This isn't a video about their lack of desirability. It's about the abundance of desirability by Black women, and unbalanced and unhealthy desirability by Black women. All right, you don't have to respond back. Wow, he needs your permission to not respond back to you. Okay. Also, some of these women are just flirting and trying to compliment. So she's basically just trying to, you know, what can I say? She's just trying to soften the L, basically. White women do it, you know, they appear thirsty for other reasons and blah, blah. She's really just trying to soften this L. I have flirted with a guy online before, but when we wanted to chat, or, you know, we're not really that interested. We're just flirting, you know. I thought I was just engaging in some harmless flirting. Yeah, she's trying to soften the L. Okay, hell, girl. I'm not sure if it's being thirsty because there are a lot of stunning women in the world. And the ones who I so happen to come across, I tell them that they are beautiful. What does that have to do with this? Okay. I like boys, if you're wondering, but with that being said, I'm not thirsty whatsoever. And let's see. Stephen Yoon in Walking Dead. Okay, so Walking Dead used to have an Asian guy. Is hot. Okay. So that's a very weird statement because he's one of very few Asian guys that you see on TV here in America. So, yeah, I mean, like, with no basis of comparison, I guess he would be, you know. I mean, like, is he hotter than the other Asian guy on a popular TV series right now? Like, is he hotter than that guy? Because Jackie Chan and Jet Li are older. So yeah, there's really no basis of comparison. I mean, you know, like if you was to say like Idris Elba is attractive, then that would mean that he's more attractive than the median Black guy on television. But she just like picked the one Asian guy out there that you can think of and said that he's attractive. Interesting. Whenever I see a post of him, I like them. Not everyone. There's no one else. Basically, you look for the post of 100% of the Asian population on television. Not everyone. I count thirsty as pleading and begging that person to do grown-up shit. So basically, your definition of thirsty is higher than everybody else's definition of thirsty, but still thirsty. All right, let's see. All right, this will probably be the last one. Nice video. It was true and funny. I'm interested in Asian men, but not so much as thirsty. To be real, I'm more so interested in their culture. I am too. I am too. So I could get with this comment, you know. Food and music, culinary students here. And I sing. I have 2 videos on here of me singing, and I hope to put up more. I'm kind of new to the video world of YouTube, so do check out my vocals and tell me what you think. Honestly, pass it on to friends too. Thanks. Okay, so that was something that was said. Let me do one more. Let's see. This is so true. So what the other chick that said to soften the L is bullshit. This is so true. I'm a silent observer on one of the AMBW Facebook groups, and I see this a lot. Damn. It really isn't a great look at all. So yes, sister, yes. I am glad that you are honest and understanding about this. This is not Thump on Black Woman Day. This is not at all. In fact, I don't even know what day is Thump on Black Woman. This is the day, last day of July, where I tell you how the sisterhood is failing you. Because trust me, the physical attraction is not that high for any group of men to warrant this type of response. The reason, hold on, let me stop this. The reason that you, by the way, email me if you want to get in on the conversation, if you want to get in on the panel. The physical desirability from any group of women on any group of men is not that high. It just isn't. I mean, yes, there is a thing between, you know, white women and black men, and theirs is a little bit higher than most other interracial pairing as far as women on man goes, which is why they travel to, you know, islands and travel to Africa for their sex tours and shit like that. But even then, it is not that high, and that's because there's always going to be a high availability of it. You know, there's no shortage of black men wherever they, whatever, in most all countries that they come from, to where they have to just swarm them on Facebook and, you know, say, I want to have your baby and shit like that. The reason that this is done is because of this groupthink that we call the sisterhood. Now, the way the sisterhood operates is they're trying to create scarcity amongst black men, while at the same time creating an abundance amongst black women. Now, that is impossible to happen. The only way that that can happen is one of two ways. One, if a bunch of black women all of a sudden died and, you know, it was like 9 men to every 1 black woman. Or two, if they were able to get a significant number of black women to get out of the dating market for a period of time. This is called eliminating the competition. That is the goal of certain black women. And that is the actual appeal of AMBW to these women. Not to say that, you know, many of them don't have legitimate Asian fetishes or legitimately desire Asian culture, but it should not be that disproportionately high at all. So yes, there are those who do, like the one in the comment section. I definitely believe that she does, and I definitely believe that it's largely for cultural reasons, and some of them do for physical reasons. But the rest are just full of shit. Like the one grinding on the couch. See, she knows, like most people know, that women are group thinkers, you know, women want the men that other women want. So by her doing that, she is basically attempting to say, oh, yes, this is a highly desirable group of people. I want you to swarm them on Facebook with hopes to, you know, get with this group of people. However, and this will create thirst amongst black men. And maybe that's true, but there is a side effect of this. And the side effect of it is worse than a gain. I mean, I guess, yes, you may be making a couple of brothers jealous or what have you, but I mean, look at how you coming off to them and pretty much everybody else out there. I mean, this is really, really, really not a good look. This is an extreme L. And this video is 7 years old. and you are still doing it. You're still driving, you're still grinding on the couch. All right. Let's see. You mean to tell me that they're out here giving ass to Asian scrubs, but we'll call niggas broke? Yep. It's a different standard. Yes. Unfortunately, yes. Golden Eagle. And that is an L on brothers. You see, brothers don't really care about the collective for the most part. They don't really see what's going on. Like when somebody don't have, when a black man doesn't have standards, then women feel less valued by being with a black man. So say a woman, a white woman, gets with a attractive black man, and she's attractive herself. And then his twin brother goes out and get this, this fat trailer park chick. She is now going to feel like a fat trailer park chick. She no longer feels prized. She no longer feels like she beat out stiff competition to be with this person. She just feel like, damn, I could have just let myself go and got the same thing. That is how black men are diminishing their own sexual marketplace value. And this is from, years and years of the fuckery. Being told that you ain't shit, you're not worth an attractive woman, you're a beta male coon, you're a scrub, you're broke, you're this, and this, we're going to start dating other groups of men and blah, blah, blah. This is after years of that, black men have found comfort in not only attempting to take whatever the fuck they can get, they will attempt to teach others to do the same. How dare you have standards, game changer? Yeah, that's my imitation of BGS's voice. How dare you? I can't imitate his voice, but y'all know what he sounds like. All right. So yeah, this has been going on for a not insignificant amount of time in the black community. And what they're doing is they're passing off the lack of effectiveness onto loyalty. So the whole definition of loyalty is confused. And here's why. Loyalty is not the absence of disloyalty. Okay, I want y'all to follow me for a second. Say I am the CEO of Pepsi, right? And I'm looking at the charts, and there's a town in Pennsylvania, right? And I want to know if these people in this town of Pennsylvania, let's just call it, Changerville, Pennsylvania. I want to know if this town in Pennsylvania is loyal to Pepsi, if they're loyal Pepsi drinkers. So what do? Well, for whatever reason, I don't check to see if they're drinking Pepsi, because that would make too much sense. What I do instead is check to see if they're not drinking Coke. So I bring up the stats. I say, hey, you person, bring me the stats on how much Coke they drink. And it's like, oh yes, less than 1% of the population drink Coke. Say, oh well, they must be loyal to Pepsi. But you should really look at if they're drinking Pepsi. Now, I know the analogy kind of got, too much detail, and I kind of went too deep into it, but just follow me for a second. In the black community, when they talk about loyalty, they're not really counting how many black women are with black men. They're counting how many black women are not with another group of men. But that's not how you measure such a thing. Because what if that town in Changerville, Pennsylvania, people just don't drink soda? They just drink water. They're Amish. So that's what's going on with. Do not confuse absence of being with a competition as loyalty to that, because loyalty to that group is loyalty to that group. It can't be substituted. It's like, oh, just because they're not doing this, that it doesn't mean that they're doing that either. They're just doing other shit. All right. So, all right, one moment. So I have a guest that I want to bring on for the second portion, but I don't know if that person is available yet. So I'm going to send a text message. So bear with me right quick. All right, let me just have to refresh this page. All right, because now what I want to do is I want to discuss the importance of a dominant man, or not really the importance, but the role of a dominant man. So we're going to switch gears in a second as soon as I get my special guest on. But after this, we're going to talk about swirlers. Damn, I can't get that out. All right, so bear with me one moment. All right. Go ahead and put the comments in the comment section, and I'll read them out after I send this text message. All right. One moment, I'm just getting my phone. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm back, and I'll talk while I do this. So yeah, it's very disturbing. We have to reevaluate how we look at loyalty. If you were to count the loyalty as the number of Black women that are married to Black men, then it's very low. What we tend to do is we count of the ones who are married, the percent that is loyal. But, so that is like a calculation, or, oh, here's an email. Here's a text message from somebody I didn't expect. All right, let me check. Let me just send this out 1 second. Damn, how does this work? So I use this Google Voice service for things like that, but it's not really working right. Hold on. All right, it's still loading. So you're saying in Southern California that Asian male and white females are the norm? Because I remember back in the day, Asian dudes were really into white chicks, but it wasn't reciprocated. Hopefully that's changed. I mean, I do notice, and this is not a bad thing, that economic stability is more important to women nowadays than whatever the fuck swag is, which sucks for the people who depended on swag, but it is a good thing for doctors, I guess, and people who practice discipline and focus their whole life. So kudos to them. Oh, so K-pop is a form of music that's popular with white girls? Is that what you're saying? Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, sent that out. Okay, so there you go. You found your niche in that regard. I'm gonna have to look into it. All right. So, but I don't think that that's what he was talking about because his video is 2012. But yeah, if there's a new cultural trend, particularly towards Asian guys, then yeah, that'll do it. That will change it. So, all right, let me send out some links. 1 second. Oh boy. So I heard somewhere that they are not actually going to get rid of the Hangout. So who knows? I guess we'll find out soon enough. All right. So fantastic. I sent you a link if you want to hop on. Because the next portion I'm going to get into. So I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to dwell too long on this. It's just that I thought about this old video that I seen. I dug it up. And when she did that whole couch grinding thing, I had to bring it back up. I just couldn't do it at the time because I had to dig up the video. All right. So. Oh. All right, there we go. I could tell you since 2006, that's when I heard the complaints from the Asian guys and white girl situation. But I mean, hopefully that's changed for the better, particularly for Asian guys, because you know everybody needs a chance in the sun. And besides, it would encourage other groups of men to be more productive. Wait, is K-pop that shit where they show people like on skates and dressing up like the 1950s and shit? So when I'm in the gym, I see some shit featuring Asian guys. And yeah, they'll be dressed like Fonzarelli or, you know, it's really, it's weird. I'm not really listening to it because I have my own headphones on, but they're dressed like in the 50s, and this was on one particular music video. And the Asian women are dressed like white women, but back in the day. Is that what that is? I didn't listen to it. I see it. And I also seen one where they're on roller skates and it was a black guy there and they were like fake kung fu fighting. Is that what that is? Okay, so it's just Korean pop. Okay, I got you. What's J-pop? That sounds like something fucked up. All right. Well, yeah, but what does J stand for? Gotcha. A lot of good things come out of Japan. Anything with the word ninja in it is undoubtedly going to be cool. Okay. All right. So, where was I? All right. So I'm going to move away from this whole Black women, Asian guy thing, because outside of the ones that are particularly interested in K-pop, which I don't think that that's what he was talking about, it's not a genuine thing. This is part of BFF. This is something that's contrived. And I think that we all can see that now, if you didn't before this video. All right. That being said, what's next? What is the responsibility of a dominant man. Because a lot of people, when we talk about patriarchal families and dominant and male-led households, a lot of men see the benefits, but they don't really see the responsibility that's involved in it. And I was going to have a discussion with a special guest on this, but if and when that person comes on, I'll just give my point of view on it. So basically, I think that the responsibilities of the head of household is far greater than most people in modern society are willing to embrace. Just like the responsibility of the subordinate person in the household, of course, in male-led households, we're talking about women, is far greater than they're willing to embrace. Like when we talk about the subordinate, it's assuring that the husband is pleased, assuring that the children grow up healthy and mentally and physically stable, socially stable, and things like that. That is now on the surface, because there's no measuring stick for those things, it's easy for someone to say that, oh yes, my kid is well adjusted. Even though your kids go to school, they come home with a key around their neck, and then, they play video games and watch porn all day. No one is to really say that this child is not properly adjusted. So it's a very easy job to fake doing good. But a true caregiver would go into like more in depth. They will have a greater involvement in their children's lives, making it a full-time job. They would make sure that their kids get extracurricular activities, not just watch TV or play video games all day. Make sure that their homework is done and done properly each night. Make sure that the younger ones, you read them a bedtime story. Keep up with their doctor's appointment. Keep up with their hygiene. Keep up with their dental appointments. Know their blood types by heart. Make sure that they are taking the safest route to school, monitoring their nutrition, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. See, parenting is a easy job to do, but it's a very difficult job to do well. And I think that that's where we fall off. And I think that that's where the confusion came from initially, and how feminism came into power. I mean, just the thought that a group of people, in this case women, some men, got together and said, in addition to my parental responsibilities, I'm going to add on additional responsibilities, corporate responsibilities, or whatever you want to call it, economic responsibilities. So that's what feminism did. It added responsibilities. It didn't make life easier. It made it harder, because, you had to do whatever you did before, plus 8 hours of work. I mean, the dishes didn't go away because of feminism. The food still needed to be cooked, before and after feminism. The house still needed to be cleaned before and after feminism. So you really just added more responsibility, because now you have to do those things plus work 8 hours a day. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But mainly the fact that it came about really showed that a lot of people of the time were not doing what they were supposed to do, as far as taking care of house and home and children and things like that. They were just spending 2 hours a day doing these things. And then they were bored, so that's when they became advocates of feminism, so they can have something else to do. That's my theory on that. Now, because of that, there is now a confusion of who's to do what, what is whomever's responsibility. I'm gonna just come out and say it. The well-being of the family is your ultimate, as the man, is your ultimate responsibility. If and only if all members of the family is submissive to you. If a person, okay, let's put it like this. Say you and your wife, girlfriend, lover, baby mama, whatever you want to call it. If the person that you are with and yourself are walking through the forest naked, for whatever reason, you find yourself naked in a forest, and you come across a killer bee hive, and you tell that person, be careful, whatever you do, do not disturb the bees. These are very dangerous bees. If those bees were to come out and attack anyway, then it is your duty as the leader to cover that person with your own body to protect her from the killer bees. That is the burden of leadership. However, so that's scenario A, the bees just attack on their own. Scenario B is if, scenario B, get it, bees? All right, scenario B is if you tell that person to leave that bee's nest alone, and they say, nigga, who are you to tell me what to do? I do what I want, whatever. And then they take a stick and they hit that beehive, and then the bees come out and swarm. You are well within your right to run away as fast as you can. And make sure you are faster than the person who hit the beehive with a stick. You have no obligation to a disobedient person. Therefore, you're well within your right to flee. And of course, the last scenario and the most ideal is that you tell them not to do it, and they don't do it, and the bees don't attack. Of course, that is the ideal situation. And that's just an example of how leadership works. You're only responsible, excuse me, you're only responsible if and only if the people are subordinate, or to those who are subordinate to you. Now, if a person is subordinate to you, then you are completely responsible. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about some B shit or just keeping them alive or blah, blah, blah. No. If your significant other, you find that they have Tourette's or bipolar disorder, which is triggered or something like that, then you are responsible for their emotional well-being, period. If this person is feeling lonely or afraid or melancholy, you are responsible for their psychological well-being. She has to you, and you are to make her comfortable in this role as much as you can, as long as she obeys. I know it doesn't seem like that's the man's responsibility, because we have been indoctrinated with such things, but it's not a matter of, honey, I'm bored, and you just turn around and say, well, damn it, fix me a sandwich or knit something. I'm playing video games. Nah, it's not like that, And I'm not saying, to be her entertainment monkey, but, it is your obligation to see that she is getting proper activity to do that. Because what essentially has happened is she sacrificed a single life for a life with you, which would be more entertaining. You know, it is more directly entertaining to live the whole, Real Housewives or whatever the fuck life, or, just the ratchet life in general. That is more entertaining. She sacrificed that to be a submissive woman to you. And let's face it, she probably lost a lot of friends, of the ratchet variety just to be with you. And you have to fill that void, that loss. And a lot of fellas don't want to do that. Yes, they want the submissive woman, but they want it in a way to where they could just, watch the game and command a blowjob during halftime. That's what they want. And I don't really watch the game of any sport. And I do like blowjobs, but it's not. I understand that with this, and I shouldn't really call it power. I should say with this authority comes a responsibility, and I think that a lot of brothers, unfortunately, because they haven't been groomed for such, because they themselves were raised by single mothers, or they have been raised in a matriarchal household with two parents. Read Sergeant Willie P. and I'm sure many other brothers. They are not prepared for the responsibility that comes with head of household. Many of them just see the benefits. It is an extraordinary responsibility. And, I must admit that for the majority of my life, particularly the 20s, I was not really prepared for such a responsibility. However, I did seek the authority because I knew that it would not work otherwise. And far too many men are, I should say black men, are in that particular setting. Now, the economic responsibility that comes along with it. Yes, within reason, the economic responsibility lies completely on you as the male lead. If and only if the woman is economically subordinate to you. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you can afford a 4-bedroom house, but instead you choose to get a 2-bedroom house, and that decision is solely yours, then anything that comes out of that decision is your responsibility. And that's a very difficult burden to bear, because, what if you get the 4-bedroom place and you lose your job? And it's a long time before you find another. Now, let's just say the place is like an extra $500 bucks a month for mortgage, right? And the housing price did not appreciate in the last 10 years. So basically, you could have been saving $6,000 a year over 10 years. It's just the two of you, maybe one kid. So a 2-bedroom place would have did, but you wanted to show out for the other housewives, so you decided to go larger. Now, you could have saved this $6,000 over the 10-year period and then had $60,000, but instead you decided to show out. You are responsible for that, and you are accountable for that decision, provided that she let that decision be solely yours. Now, if she said, no, I'm not going to be with a nigga with a 2-bedroom, house. I want this house, do this. My bag. If she came at that and through her coercion or ultimatum or what have you, because that is ultimatum, she says, I'm not going to be with you with this size house or with a car that costs this much, then at that point, you are surrendering to her desire. Now, I'm not saying that that's really wrong. What I am saying is that any financial calamity that comes as a result of that down the line, you are not responsible for, because she did not offer complete and total submission in that regard. So that's how that works. I'm trying to think of other scenarios where um, other examples where stuff like that would come up, that people may question, is it the responsibility of the head of household, to do dot dot dot? Well, protection. Um, you are responsible for the protection of both your wife and children. Uh, However, if and only if you have the authority to delegate. For example, you tell your wife, if you go out with your girls and you drink, take an Uber back. And she don't, and you have, and you get she gets into an accident, and there's that. So, all right, basically the short of it is you are responsible for every aspect of the household that you are given control over, not falsely given control over, completely given control over. If you are completely given authority over the women and children of the household, then you are responsible for that complete authority. Now, there is different levels when of authority in every relationship. And it doesn't mean that these are not patriarchal household. It just means that a certain amount is delegated to a person who is more competent in that area. For example, a guy who's adept at earning money is probably not so adept at, I don't know, spending it or saving it, or um, what's the word I was looking for? Spending it or saving it or managing it. That's the word I'm looking for. So he might delegate that task to his wife. Now, it does not mean that he is not the leader of the household. It just means that, that's not his thing, really. That's not his thing per se. His thing is more of the um, managing household variety. What's this? Or maybe managing household is not his thing. Or perhaps even, and this is rare, um, but perhaps even making the money isn't his thing, and he delegates that task to his wife. Now, that is a slippery slope. And I don't really recommend that men do that for several reasons. For one, how can I say? Unless you're sick or something, because no matter what, you are seen as the inferior caregiver. If you are also, and you are, it's not just something you've seen. Men are inferior caregivers to women, just from a biological standpoint. We don't breastfeed and shit like that. There's nothing to say about our personality or our cultural makeup. This is just saying that, we don't breastfeed. There's certain things that we just don't, are not really as equipped as women to do. Um, that will begin to take its toll on the relationship, even though you may think things are fine. The situation is going to be evaluated, and they're going to say, okay, so I am in this role and you are not completely as effective as I would be in your role. That is the internal message that will start to be received. And that will have its wear and tear on the relationship, and many times cause the relationship to end or never even begin. And the female breadwinner thing, it's such a, I don't want to say failed construct or failed model, but it's not really that effective. Um, it's something that society has tried, is trying, and continues to try. However, in spite of the trying, it's just not working, and for several reasons. One, because in order to do it, it requires that you take a large chunk of your prime mating years and turn that into your economic development years. I mean, unless you can become a doctor at 18, then you are taking your prime mating years into becoming a doctor. Now, your market value has stayed the same, whether you have become a doctor or not. However, what you are searching for has drastically increased. I'm not talking about just a little bit, I'm talking about it has drastically increased, meaning that, if you make $250,000 a year, he should make $350,000 a year. Or else you'll fall into the category that I just described, and you're just a woman with an inferior caregiver living with you, and you may not feel that comfortable in that situation. So what winds up happening with these types is that they continue to search in their newfound wealthier social circle and academically inclined social circle, and they find that the men are not limited to this particular social circle. They could pretty much stick it anywhere. So your competition is fierce. You're actually still competing with the Hooters waitress, while he is not competing with the dishwasher at Hooters. For you, he is for the Hooters waitress. So it puts them in a very peculiar situation. So, and then there's the whole fertility window thing, like the earliest you can reasonably become a doctor, and this is if you're very good, is like 26, and then you just are starting a dating market, So think about all the women who remain single from 18 to 25, and excuse me. So, you add like 7 years to 26, and what are you, like 33? And then fertility becomes a concern. So it's very difficult to do it that way. So, and I know this is down a rabbit hole, but I'm going to get into the male responsibility portion. I'm going to get back to that and tie it back in. So it's a big responsibility. Now, what I suggest that a highly intelligent woman who is capable of becoming a PhD, and a wife and mother, she's competent and capable of doing all these things. What would I suggest she do? Well, the same thing that I would suggest an athlete with an extraordinarily high IQ do. Do the thing that requires youth first. In other words, don't become a doctor and then become a basketball player, because it'll be a lot harder to do. It'll be a lot harder to become a doctor for like 5-10 years and then go back to the NBA at 36. No, the better thing to do is to go to the NBA, retire from that young, and then become a doctor. And that is the same with women who are both capable of being a great wife and mother, and also capable of career success. Get the wife and mother thing under your belt first. Secure the husband. Secure the kids. Make sure that the kids are stable, that they're well adjusted and things like that. And then when the kids are of age where they don't require as much of you, then start school. You're still young, especially if you start young, especially if you start like in your early 20s. You can, you know I mean, what did you really lose, becoming a doctor at 36 as opposed to 26, or 46 as opposed to 26? You still have a very, very prosperous career ahead of you. And now you have a husband and kids. So I would recommend that. But what to do if the women that you are interested in, um, or that you want to submit to you, is your economic superior. And this is going to sound bad, but call it a crisis of leadership. The non-child related household expenses are still yours, and they are not to increase based on her substantial income. Meaning that if you can only afford a 2-bedroom house on your salary, and she can afford an 8-bedroom house on her salary, then you are to live in a 2-bedroom home. Now, both men and women, will not feel comfortable with this arrangement, but trust me, it's more sustainable than the alternative. Moving into the 8-bedroom home under her salary is going to have repercussions in the future. No matter what, even if in this particular instance she is more capable, you are still more responsible. That's just the way nature works. And that's just the way patriarchy wants, if you want to sustain and maintain a patriarchy. Now, where does her money go? Well, this is a patriarchy, and you still dictate, you still have control over certain things. Assure that the bulk of the income, of her income, is spent on her own luxury goods, as well as her children's future and well-being. So once that is taken care of, once that is secure, the kids have an allowance, they have a healthy trust, they go to private school if needed, they get all of their tutorings and all that good stuff. Once all of that is reasonably and comfortably taken care of, then the rest is really hers. That's really her thing. So I think that's all I wanted to cover. Hold on one second. I'm just refreshing the page. For some reason, for me, the chat room doesn't update automatically, at least not today. So I have to refresh to get all of the new chats. So give me a second, bear with me. All right. Okay. So there's a link for Korean pop music. I will check it out. I'm pretty sure that's probably what I do see in the gym, or some type of music with Asian people doing roller skating and stuff. All right. Asian males are not selected. Well, I mean, things change. I don't, I mean, that's not really like a laughable thing. I mean, things do change with time and circumstances. Um, believe it or not, Jewish men used to dominate the NBA. I mean, shit changed, and you would be surprised when it do. You know, as far as cultural trends go, because that's all it is. It's cultural trends. It's this is why I don't really get into the select non-select thing with C Boogie, um, because select is whatever a woman wants at that time. At this time, what you say may be true. Maybe what Zone is saying is true, that the trend is changing because of K-pop, um, and I don't know if the trend is actually changing. It may be changing relative to where it was before, but not an increase on a significant scale, especially compared to white dudes. But it's a plus in their direction. Anyway, women change trends like they change panties. One day this is in, and this is on an individual scale, on a micro scale. One day this is in, next day this is in. Like, oh, I want a thug. It's like, oh no, I want one of those daishiki wearing poetry brothers. Like, oh no, I want somebody structured and disciplined. I want me a military guy. That's what's hot right now. Or no, I want me an academic. Trust me, I've seen it all. I've seen, and this is just from area to area in the US. I've seen it all on what they think is attractive. It varies and it fluctuates so much. On a national level, yeah, they're not top right now, but things change, Brendan. So that's my take on that, and hopefully for them it changes for the positive. But it actually, if I had to predict such a thing, I think that it definitely would change because and this goes back to a comment that one of the people on that video said, and that is that everybody else is easy, and therefore you can't properly value that. Like, it's easy to just like walk through a hood, even and get a black guy. It's easy, even if you're overweight. It's easy. And if you are a white woman and you swipe on enough white guys, it's easy to get that too. But an Asian guy, because they are extremely selective, women feel more valued by being with them. So yeah, that might be the case. As time passes and they just get sick of the high availability of both black and white guys, and women start to get sick of the high availability of both black and white guys, that they might move in that direction. I can definitely see that happening. Um, you probably won't see a significant trend increase until the Asian guys actually start embracing this, because in addition to wanting to feel like they beat out other women as far as the selection process, they also want to feel that they have what other women want. That's just the way women are wired. They want to feel that, um, it's almost on some trophy husband type shit. They want to feel like they have the trophy. So yeah, there's that. Huh. That happened. So things change as far as on the Asian front. But what are your guys' thoughts on the the man's responsibility of the household, or what do you think a man's responsibility to the household is? Um, we'll discuss that for a second, and then I'm gonna hop on C Boogie's channel. All right. So me one moment. All right. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty standard. It does come with power comes responsibility. We as black men have been given responsibility absent power, which is why we have little girls and older women, who go out, get themselves into trouble, and then say, "Black men, why didn't you protect me?" But it's like, whose authority did you fall under? Did you ask a particular man for permission to be in this particular setting? And if so, it definitely was his responsibility to protect you. Furthermore, if you did request permission and you would have obeyed had he said no, like you asked him for such and such and he said no, and you would have stayed home anyway, because he said it, even though you wanted to go out. Were that the case, then yes, you are entitled to protection to that person from that person that you submitted to. And he is accountable, not the plurality of black men. That individual who you have submitted to is responsible. But that's not the case. So black men have been charged with responsibility absent power, which means that you're doomed. You're doomed in that regard. If you accept that arrangement, then you are fucked, because somebody is going to here we go with the forest thing again. You're dealing with somebody who's going to hit the bee's nest with a stick and then demand that you sacrifice yourself to protect them. That is a deadly scenario. That is one of the many reasons why so many brothers are dead and in jail. All right, so I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. I know that there's a lot of streams going on right now because it is the last day, but I decided to get mine out. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and this is Game Changer 00100, and I am out. Peace.